God bless America. Hello, everybody. I am the Talk Radio Protege. This is the Protege program. The push in the wake of the Parkland school shooting to assault the Second Amendment is tremendous, especially considering that it's been a week and a half. Normally, by a week and a half after a tragedy, the media has moved on. But this time, there appears to be a renewed commitment, perhaps fueled by the victim's own beliefs and dedication to seeing certain firearms banned or seeing some type of legislation passed that will do something being a ban on some kind of weaponry. And I wanted to talk about today that the title of this video is going to be Law Enforcement Failed Across the Board in Parkland Shooting. And the description, which I wanted to be the title but is way too long, is that Parkland should be memorialized as an abject lesson in why individuals must be allowed to defend themselves. As details continue to emerge in this case, they make law enforcement look worse and worse. First, we learned that local police had been called to the shooter's home over 24 times, but no action was taken that might have limited this person's access to weaponry. Then we learned that the FBI had been contacted at least once, perhaps twice, but no investigation was conducted into this individual. Today, it was learned, and is being reported by Fox News, that the Stoneman Douglas High School quote-unquote resource officer, which is to say a police officer who is assigned permanently to the school, was on site throughout the shooting, armed sufficiently to intervene in events just like this one, and he stood outside, watching the school, listening to the gunshots, like the bourgeoisie citizens that sat on the hillside overlooking Fort Sumter and watched the battle, in a despicable act of cowardice and a terrible dereliction of duty. Law enforcement, in the form of the FBI, local police, and the school's own personal security, failed to stop the shooting both before it happened and after it commenced. Law-abiding gun owners were not allowed to lend a hand in this event. The reason is simply that the law dictates that unauthorized personnel may not carry arms on school property. This all happened in a world where, since 2014, half of the political class, 90% of the media, and at least 1/3 of the populace at large insist that all of law enforcement are evil, racist pigs. And yet, all of the above being said, the conclusion of the left, in light of this shooting, is to further disempower law-abiding citizens, placing more people solely in the hands of the evil, racist law enforcement officers. In fact, the Broward County Sheriff, who told Dana Lash on Wednesday that she is not allowed to say she stands for average citizens unless she says, "I want less weapons," said this of the resource officer. I know it's here somewhere, because it wasn't just the president that said this. When asked what Peterson should have done, the sheriff, Broward County Sheriff Mr. Israel, said the deputy should have went in, addressed the killer, and killed the killer. The Broward County Sheriff, who 2 days ago said that the NRA doesn't stand for average people unless they say, "I want less weapons," said, my man with a weapon should have went and done something, but average Americans shouldn't have more weapons. Now, I don't like to throw the word hypocrite around, but clap warning, hip-o-crit, Mr. Israel. I've been told that the media is now pushing the deputy's failure to act, the deputy's dereliction of duty, as a failure of concealed carry. That just goes to demonstrate two things. Number one, the media doesn't know what concealed carry is, or if they do, they're lying to you about it. And number two, they count on you not knowing what concealed carry is. Because concealed carry doesn't mean police officers on school property having weapons. Concealed carry doesn't even mean plainclothes officers having weapons. Concealed carry means an average citizen who is trained in the operation, concealment, carrying, and proper usage of a firearm in self-defense or other defensive situations. You don't go to a concealed carry class to learn how to become a freaking school shooter. I know dozens of people that have taken these concealed carry courses, and they all report back to me the same thing. When you go to a concealed carry class, they want to make sure that you know how to use a weapon, that you know how to properly carry a concealed weapon, and that you know that you're carrying a weapon for self-defense. Concealed carry is not something for law enforcement. Concealed carry is for average Americans. Concealed carry is not for offensive assaults on defenseless human beings. Concealed carry is for law-abiding citizens to take the preservation of life into their own hands when the situation calls for it. The situation like the Parkland school shooting could have been easily stopped by law-abiding citizens and concealed carry. One of the staff or faculty, I'm not 100% sure what to call them, what the difference is, but one of the staff of the Parkland school was shot dead trying to protect his students. And I'll never forget what my father said to me when he was talking about laying down your life for the people you love. And he said to me, I would gladly take a bullet for my wife, for your mother, if I knew that that would save her life. But he continued and he said, what's the point of dying if your mother is going to be the next one to die? What's the point of the coach dying if the children standing behind him are the next to die? Why shouldn't the coach be armed so that he can save the lives of the students that are in his charge? Why should he and the students be rendered defenseless in this situation? How on earth are the evil actions of evil people justification for disarming this law-abiding citizen who was a hero, who gave up his own life for his students? Why not give him the opportunity to save those lives? I don't know in what order the victims were killed. Call me insensitive, I don't care. But let's say, for the sake of the argument, that the coach was the first victim. I would assume that since he died protecting students, the students he died protecting were the next ones to die. So at minimum, he was not the last victim, but let's say he was the first. If he had had a gun instead of nothing, we wouldn't be talking about a school shooting today. We'd be talking about a hero teacher that stopped a massacre. There wouldn't be 17 people dead today. There might be one, but at least it would have just been the bad guy. I was watching a video of another commentator, I was watching the video of another commentator, and he summed it up perfectly. Something that I've said in form in a previous video on this shooting. Not just this topic, this exact shooting. And he said that he's willing to offer the other side the benefit of the doubt. He's willing to believe that the people that are advocating for confiscation of firearms want to stop future shootings. But he reflected on the rhetoric that's being used by the new poster children of gun control. Again, pun intended. And he said, whenever I see people talking like this and behaving in the way that these children are, and they are children, it further cements me, the commentator said, in my beliefs. It doesn't shake them. And I feel the exact same way, and it's why I've been bringing up this phrase that's now on your screen in these recent videos. Because when someone says to me, you can't talk about anything unless you're talking about confiscation of guns, you don't get to say, I stand up for you, unless you say, you want to confiscate firearms. It's why I say, molon labe. It's why I call on you to as vigorously defend the Second Amendment as you would defend a woman's right to an abortion. Unless, of course, you don't defend a woman's right to an abortion, then please do exactly the opposite. That's all that I have to say at this time. I'm sure there will be more to say on this topic. It seems like the president is fully intent on doing something about these shootings, and I don't think that the thing in the president's mind is a ban. So I'm very much looking forward to this president's actions and proposed plans on addressing the problem of school shootings. I think that a solution could be looming. The president seems vigorously in favor of allowing teachers to get the training and arm themselves to defend themselves and their students, which I applaud. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. You can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be there commenting on it. This is one of the issues that is the nearest and dearest to my heart, right up there with the right to life, and I'm not going to stop talking about it as long as the left intend on obliterating the right to preservation of life. So that's going to do it for this week. This is the last video that you have to watch until the weekend. After you get done, unplug, decompress. Don't watch any news this weekend unless you're a prolific consumer of news. Then there's nothing I can say that will stop you. But take this weekend off. Decompress. It can be very relaxing to not worry about the news for a couple of days. Somewhat cathartic, you might say. But if you liked this video, leave a like, hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Come back Monday when we pick up on reporting on these issues. The president had his meeting with local leaders today on the issue of stopping school shootings. He had a meeting with governors today, and I'm sure that some sort of policy proposal is going to come out of those meetings. So that could be the video coming up on Monday. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you tune in. Until next time, have a good night. Have a great weekend. Molon labe.